Good afternoon, now it is. Welcome to the Man Up Podcast, episode 3. It's Thursday. I'm not late because I'm doing it weekly, technically it's the same time. I know in episode 1 I said I was going to do this on a Sunday. I don't think that's going to be possible, I'll be honest. On a Wednesday and Thursday, I tend to get the office to myself. So I think it's probably the best time to record them and upload them then. So what a week, man. What an absolute week we've had. It's been manic. It's just been, we opened last Friday. As you know, I do some work on a park. We opened last Friday. Everything that could have went wrong. Everything that broke could have broke. Every IT solution we had went down. The app, everything. But the team got through it. The team absolutely nailed it. They nailed the fact that they got through what they needed to get through, and they were absolutely, in my eyes, superb. And they really, really did well. So, take it off to them. And a lot of them are new. A lot of them have never done it before. So to be under that kind of duress and really smash it out of the park, they were really good. So that was great. Good weekend then. Some issues, but stuff that business stuff throw up at you. You just grin and bear it, and you just move on, which was fantastic. Coming into a new week, and the week started off pretty good. I thought I had loads of time on my hands. Like I was gonna be really organised, get loads of stuff done, and then just bang. Tuesday just hit me like a ton of bricks. As part of one of my businesses, we had a visit from an outside force. Let's just say that that was being really difficult, and I had to deal with that. And it wasn't easy to deal with. Could have caused a lot of issues if I hadn't really thought about it and really talked through with the people who knew, my team, the external partners we use to really understand whether this person that's coming on to try and come in and try to enforce all this stuff in the business actually has the authority and stuff to do it. And it's been really draining. It's the first week I think I've really felt tired. And I really slept. I don't sleep much anyway, but I haven't really slept. And it's really took it out of me this week, which is, if I look a bit tired, I apologise. I need to shave my hair, my beard. It's looking a bit scraggly now. But then that brought me on to today's podcast, and I'm thinking, with such a tough week and what I've had and what I've done, how do I bounce back from it? And I've got an incredible team around me, so there is that. But I question whether I wanted to be doing what I'm doing anymore. Just because I believe if you don't get support, and you've got to really look after yourself now. And are you bringing? I always say to you guys, look at the people around you. Do they bring value to you? But you got to look at the people above you as well, and the people that's meant to be your support. Do they support you and stuff like that? It's been a really tough, really tough week. Draining in every aspect, to the point that I looked at selling up some stuff. So I just sell up and bloody move on. Do you know what I mean? So it's been tough. So what I've done instead is I've re-looked at a few things. So I've re-looked at the support you get, the decisions you have to make. I've re-looked at burnout and are you valued? And I thought, do you know what? That's what I'll talk about today. Now, we'll talk about those things in a bit more detail. So the first thing is, I've always been a self-proclaimed, I've always been a workaholic. So whenever I go into a new project, new business, when I was going into new jobs, I always look at how I perform. Like, I want to be the best. But I always give it 150%. Even if I don't like what I'm doing, I never do anything half-heartedly. I always do things as quick and as much, and I put so much into everything. And it's cost me relationships. It's cost me time with my kids at some points. There's a story when I was running gyms, My oldest boy now, he's 16 now. Leaves school this year, but he was about, let's say 6 or 7, and he was asked, paint a picture that reminds you of Daddy. And the picture he painted was the front of the gym at that point that I was running. And that reminded him of Daddy, and that really hit home. But you know what? It hit home for about 3 months, and then I still went back to working all the hours, traveling around the UK, traveling everywhere. You know, I looked at maybe I would relocate to Amsterdam at one point because I wanted to work on something over there. And so I always had, you know, my mum, my partner now, and people always say to me, you're going to burn yourself out. And I've always said, I'm invincible. I say it to my kids all the time. I say to my kids, I'm invincible. I'm not going anywhere. Nothing can hurt me. And I never thought burnout could be a thing. Now, physically and mentally, they're two different things. And what I do is two different things. And what that's where I am at with it at the moment is, you know, physically, I can be burnt out because I, you know, issues with my back. But then mentally burning out is a tough one, and I never thought that could happen to me. I really didn't think that burnout was a thing, and I never believed in it. And I was like, no, it's all mindset. You can plow yourself through something, until probably the last couple of weeks, and I'm like, why am I so tired? And my partner will tell you at the time, she will say to you, it's because you're doing too much. You're doing 70 hours over here, you're doing 20 hours over here, you're doing 10 hours over here, you're doing this year, and now you want to do something else. Now you're talking about launching something else and investing in something else and starting something else. And she really tries to hammer it home to me, and I'm like, yeah, but I'll be fine. It's not affecting me. She goes, but it does affect you. It affects the time we have together. It affects what I do on a day-to-day basis. It affects my sleep. You know, it affects the amount of time you spend with your kids. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm doing this for everybody. I do what I do for everybody else, you know, to support my kids, to make sure we get a good life and all this stuff. And it really argues quite a bit with it. But you have to look after yourself, because, you know, if I get to a point where I cannot continue because I'm that burned out, the issue then I will have is, then who's going to do all the things I need to do to look after my family? Who's going to provide? Who's going to visit my mother? Who's going to make sure my kids are okay? Who's going to make sure my partner's okay? Who's going to pay the bills? Who's going to do all that if I'm burnt out? But, you know, work is my passion. I do it because I love it, not because I have to, right? But it's making sure that you take the times, even if it's one day a week. A good friend of mine actually said to me last week, we were sat in the venue watching a show, and he said to me, he's a great friend of mine, and he's actually I'm hoping to bring him on the podcast that's very shortly. He's a great Michael Bublé and swing tribute. We're actually looking at doing a show together. He's a very good, very, very good friend of mine, and he said to me, when do you take a full day off? And I said to him, what do you mean? He said, when do you just take a full day off? A full day, just no work at all. He said, because he makes sure now that he takes a Sunday off. A Sunday is his day. No work, very little phone, apart from if he's phoning, you know, his daughter and stuff. And I was like, I don't have a full day off, because even like tomorrow, for example, it's Friday. I normally go and see my daughter. My phone is still on. I'm still answering WhatsApp messages. I'm still answering emails. You know, meant to be going away this weekend to a rave, which I love raves, as you know. But I know I'll still work this weekend. And then I'll come back and I'll still work Sunday. So I probably work 7 days a week. I love it. My family hate it because I'm not giving them the time. And I'm working on that. I am. And it's because I got multiple projects on the go. It is. But he said to me, when do you get it? And I had to sit there and go, actually, I don't take any time off. And he's like, when do you take the watch off? And I'm like, well, never. And then my partner at the time went to me, that's the worst thing I ever bought him. Because she bought this as a present. Worst thing I ever bought him is that. You know, if we're sitting down and if we ever sit down and watch a film together, she says to me, take your watch off. And what? Take your watch off and put your phone down. And I struggle with it sometimes. And then it causes arguments, and then we have an argument over it because I don't value the time with them. I'm too busy working. And now I get it now after this week. And that brings me on to making sure you got the support around you. I have a great support network of a few very small friends So a great support network of like probably 5 or 6 friends that are really, I'd say, really close. You know, I've got a great relationship with my mother, who I don't say a lot to because she's not very well. So whenever I'm feeling like a bit tired, I'm always all singing or dancing when I go and visit, because she's my mother and I want to make sure she knows I'm happy. And I am, by the way. I'm not sitting here saying, guys, right, that I'm burnt out, I'm miserable, help me. I love what I do and I love my life. But I understand that I also need to look after myself. So please don't take this the wrong way of me going, I'm in trouble, please, 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 please help me, because that's not what I'm saying right now, okay? Going back to it then. So I have a good support network, a couple of really close friends that I talk to quite a bit, you know, and stuff like that, and partners and stuff. So that's not an issue. But the issue is the support you get from a business aspect. So the support that's given to you when, let's be crude, the shit hits the fan. So are you getting, now I'll always make sure for my team that I will be there 24 hours a day, normally 7 days a week, if it's an emergency. But I realised this week, I don't always get that support from a business aspect. And the tough thing about that is you're then very lonely and you're on your own. And you've got to make some tough decisions, and you've got to try and make stuff and make sure everybody's happy and everything's good. And sometimes you just, like this week on Tuesday, especially Tuesday, I walked back into my living room. I sat on my sofa and went, I'm so done. I am so done. I cannot do this anymore. I bounced back off it. I always do. I always bounce back up and I go again, and I'll do it for another 6 months. But this was the first time in my entire career, I think, where I've gone, is it worth it? And it's because I didn't feel supported enough from a business point of view. I went and I could rant to, you know, friends and family, and I could tell them. But from a business, I'm just literally on my own here, hang out to dry. And I've got a team to support. So if I'm feeling like that and I'm trying to put this facade on for my team and I'm going, everything's good, we're going to do this. And I'm like, you know, and I've had tougher decisions. Like, I've had tougher times. I've had times where I'm sat on a Thursday night, pay run's just about to come, you're just about to do your pay run, and I'm sat there going, across the table from my business partner and going, are we going to pay the staff? But even then, I didn't feel as little supported as I do now, or I did this week. Because we sat down and went, well, we're going to, you know, we're going to spread them out equally, and we're going to pay this person, this person, this person. Then when that money comes, we're going to pay this person, this. And what we did was we went from the bottom up. So the people that were on the least amount of money got paid on credit cards. Used my credit card to pay people. You know, I remortgaged some stuff. You know, I you know, anything we could get money on, we did, because we did. And it wasn't that the business didn't have the money. Well, we didn't have the money, but it was because we were waiting for people to pay us for us to pay them. But I didn't even feel that, you know, drained then. And I had to ring some people up and go, hey, you know, just so you're aware, pay's meant to be tomorrow, but it's probably going to be more like Monday. Are you okay for the rest of the weekend? And if they're not, then, you know, because that was tough. They were tough decisions because you couldn't pay some people, and some people, they have bills to pay like everybody else. But we got through it and we managed to build a really successful business. So, but I'm just sat here going, I didn't feel as little support then. I felt more supported then by the business partner at the time than I did this week when I'm dealing with this enforcement person, who is just, by the way, trying to be awkward, in my opinion. And I've since had an expert in that field come and visit me at the business and tell me, actually, yeah, you are right, they were just being awkward. But the support from a wider business point of view was not there. And then I had to really look at and go, do they value what we do? You know, do the clients value what we do? Do my team feel valued in what they do? Like, are my team do they realize how much I value the bloody efforts they work? Because some of my team work 60, 70, 80 hours a week. Now, I never enforce it. I never go, you have to do it. But they do it anyway. They run over backwards. You know, They see how hard I work, and they want to match it. They want to be there. No, I don't. And I get battered all the time. People say to me, "You advocate no work-life balance." I don't advocate that at all, right? I massively push work-life balance with my team. Huge. Don't practice what I preach, but I push it. Okay. But I can't stop someone wanting to go above and beyond. That doesn't work. So, so this week I felt burnt out. I didn't feel supported, and then I had to question whether I was valued. And then that made me question whether do I value my team enough? And I'm looking around going, do I value them? Does it work? Is my worth valued? And when I'm doing the jobs I'm doing and running the business I'm doing, do I always do it, stick to my values? And my values that I care, that, I work very quickly, but my one biggest value in anything I do is care. I generally care for people, and that doesn't mean I can't go around and dismiss somebody, but I generally care about people's well-being. Do I compromise that sometimes to get, and I don't think I do, and I wouldn't expect my team to compromise care, but there's caring for someone that generally needs you to care for them, and there's someone that just take the weakness, there's a difference. And that's do you feel valued? Are you valued in what you do? Do you think that your person you're right? And this is not a personal thing, this is a business thing. Because if you're not valued in the job you're going to do, you know what I mean? Like, I listened to Stephen Bartlett. I love the guy. I think he's brilliant. And he said, your employer will replace you like that. If you died tomorrow, your job be advertised. Okay. But that doesn't stop you wanting to do a good job. But do they value what you do? Do they value the job you do? And are you that important to them? That'd be key to me. And do you value the people around you? Because having someone feeling valued goes much more way than someone that you can pay £1,000 more to. So if I felt really valued by my clients and the people I work with, would I have then felt less supported when I had to deal with that issue this week? Which means I wouldn't have felt burnt out and mentally drained. Does that make sense? So it all kinds of sticks together. I feel mentally drained and burnt out this week, and I never thought I'd say I'd be burnt out. And people have been telling me for about 20 years, 22 years now since I've been working, that I would be burnt out. And I never said, no, me, never. I'm Superman. But because I didn't feel supported this week, made me question whether they valued what I do, which then made me mentally drained and burnt out. And it all come back to I didn't feel valued. And because I didn't feel valued, the support wasn't there, or I didn't think it was there. And it burnt me out. So just 3 things to really ponder. Write them down, and just a bit of a brain teasing bubble thing. Write them down and say, who in my team values me? How do I feel I'm supported? And then and if you are burnt out, take some time off. Take some time off. Apologies. Definitely take some time off if you are burnt out and you're feeling tired. There's nothing wrong with recuperating, taking some time away and then coming back stronger and bigger. So those are the 3 main things, but I want to talk to you a little bit about something else, okay? So the one thing is micro decision making. Now, I've looked at this a lot, right? And I always thought it was rubbish. But again, this week, we make probably 1,000 decisions a day, right? Probably more than that, hundreds of thousands. I gotta make the decision, get out of bed. Gotta make the decision, stand up. Gotta make the decision, go to the toilet. Gotta make the decision do I eat breakfast? So Steve Jobs is great at this. Stephen Bartlett is brilliant at it. They limit the amount of decisions they have to make. Okay, so they will limit the fact that what clothes they wear, because 9 out of 10 they just wear black, or Steve Jobs definitely just wear black. Mark Zuckerberg does the same thing. So I thought, I'm going to do that. So I ordered a load of black shirts, and I thought, I'm just going to do that, wear black, easy, out, it's done, bang. But then I was thinking, what other decisions can I micro down? So I am going to make them, because if I'm making a decision, it takes time away from me, my head goes. So what I do now is on a Sunday, my week's planned, and I do not deviate from it unless it's an emergency. But one step further is a friend of mine said, well, that's why I order gusto, because I haven't got to decide what to eat every day, which takes time. And I'm terrible for it. Never make a decision on what to eat, and then by the time I make the decision, I'm probably too hungry. But can you limit the amount of decisions? Can you really, like, if you streamline the decisions you made, would they make you more sufficient? I've got to make a decision of whether I leave at 5 or 6. But if my diary says I finish at 5, I finish at 5. And it's, you've got to make the decisions for you will massively make a difference to what your outcome of your day is. I ideally need an assistant full time. Now I have one. They do bits and bobs for me. To be fair, I'm very difficult at giving up control, but I'm gonna trial a virtual PA. Now I try and time box and everything in my week, meetings, admin, podcasts, but I'm gonna really try and micro decision, so just only make decision stuff, because otherwise, again, it's draining when you're making decisions that just don't work for you. So you've really got to be careful on how that works. So think about the decisions you make every day and how you can take them away. When a decision becomes a routine, so getting out of bed, going to the bathroom, brushing your teeth, it's not so much a decision then, it's a routine. But when you've then got to make, what do I wear? Reason I shave my head is because I'm going about cleaning my hair, doing my hair every day. So that's why I shave my head. But then I just got to make sure that once every week or twice a week, I make that decision to do it then, and it saves all this time. So it's a massive difference if you micro decision, and it will make your life a lot easier. And it takes a burden away from you as well. So that's very key as well. I want to thank you before we finish, only a short one today, about the love and support you've given on the podcast, guys. It's really good. It's in its infancy. We have got Apple, Spotify that interested now. I'm trying to get the format corrected and right. So whatever you think, I use it. I'll tell you what I do it, right? I use it as a way of getting stuff off my chest and out my head, right? So I get stuff out my head, off my chest. Whether you guys listen or whether you don't listen, it doesn't make a difference to me. It's on video. It's got out there, and I'm good. I feel better now. I feel better already for lighting alone. And then I don't put this burden of a way I'm thinking about other people, then do I? So if you are listening though, and you think it should change, or you got some topics, got some guests coming on. So I've got a loose woman coming on very shortly. I've got a self-made businessman that suffers with anxiety. They're going to talk that, and I got a well-known. What's he called? He's a film, book writer, that sort of stuff. I got all these people coming on to talk about their life, their stories as well. But then sometimes it'll just be me in here ranting at you about stuff, because that's the way it is. What I will leave you with is relationships, mate, are tough, and that's relationships with your partner, your partner, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother. Now, I don't spend enough time now with my family. I try and get to see my mum once, probably every 2 weeks now. It used to be every week, but once every 2 weeks now, probably I see her. I can't remember the last time I seen my dad's. I have two. My sister texted me today and reached out and was like, when am I seeing you next? And do you know what? I was a dick. So rather than say, well, I'll come and see you, I replied with, when can you get down here? Which was a bit of a stupid thing to say, to be fair. It could have been, when do you want to see me? So I dropped the ball there a little bit, and I should have. She's my baby sister as well, and she's had a tough time. But so I should, and I might bring her on the podcast actually, because she would be great to talk to. But rather than say like, when do you want to see me? When I'll make time for you. And this is my issue. I need to make these times. I've made commitments to some other people. I'm gonna every Wednesday night I'm gonna do something spontaneous. For at least 2 days, I'm not going to do anything when I got the kids, that sort of stuff. So it'll all come together eventually, but I really need to really focus on the people around me in my life, and I think I should do the same as well, because it's important. Those people are the ones that will value and always be there, and then if they're the ones that you should really be there for the most. So again, thanks for listening. This is episode 3. We are new. We are getting it sorted. It is slowly getting there. It's 20 to 4, nearly quarter to 4. I'm probably, if I'm honest, going to be working probably till about 8-9 o'clock again tonight, and then I do have my daughter tomorrow, so I do have some time away from the office. But again, it's phone calls and what have you. So, but I'm trying to work that out as well. If you want to reach out, the socials are Podcast Man Up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. See you all soon. Bye bye.